Hey, welcome back to Speed and Shine, and it's about time we get back into finishing our Maverick repairs. So a couple days ago, I went out to my friend Rick Klemenski's house. Rick has over 50 years experience in auto body. He owned an auto body shop. He's had several cars, to Detroit Autorama. He knows Gene Winfield. He knows a lot of people, so he knows his stuff. And he's kind of been guiding me through this. So I took it over, and lucky for me, he didn't laugh. So it was pretty good, and that there was just a couple spots I need to work on. And so he showed me I need to sand off my sharp edges. Apparently my edges are too sharp. I was trying to really get that right, but I got a couple low spots like I thought. There's some stuff underneath here that I need to sand, and then we'll move on to the other side over here. And I got a low spot right through here, and I got to put a little filler in there and sand this all out. So looking pretty good. And he gave me some homework, and the homework is to take it over to the paint store today and get a quart of paint matched up, I guess mixed up, of course. And so they're going to use a special camera or device and get the color. So we're going to see how that process is done, and then we're going to come back and we're going to sand it down with the grits he wanted us to, and then reprime it and get it ready, because when he returns in a few days from his event that he's going to, I'm going to paint the car. So we're getting close. So let's head on over to the parts store. Okay, we're at Auto Value of Jackson, the Mechanic Street location.
Yes, sir.
And I'm here with Tom, who's going to get our color matched up. What do you got there, Tom?
So this is a camera that actually scans the paint color in depth and will take it to a database to match it up to the closest possible match we can get through our system. It doesn't do vehicle specific. It's literally whatever brand matches the color to the closest. It takes 3 sample shots, and then from those 3 sample shots, we hook it into the computer and see what it brings up.
Really? And that's it right there?
Yes, sir.
All right. So should we go out and do that?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll follow you. Let's. It's the only car out in the parking lot. Blue Maverick. So
yeah, the construction has not been kind today, I've noticed.
Yeah, it took a minute to get here.
Holy crap! This thing is clean.
Except for where I been working on it. So does it help that it's nice and sunny today?
Yes, it does.
I thought so.
The sun does help a lot when overcast days, or we do have people that will bring in a panel every once in a while, and we have to bring it outside to get a better color match because the light in there does not do it justice.
So, is there like a science to this, or like what panel you should choose? Or?
I generally try and go for the most panels that aren't going to take a beating, so I try to go for the roof, the trunk, something like that, because obviously the front end here or anything on the sides, you have a lot of bug impacts and all that could affect everything.
So it's good I cleaned it before I came.
That's also, yes.
So you don't have to get very close to it, or you?
I actually have to, it does make full contact, so okay. These 4 points right here have to be pressed onto the paint in order for it to read.
Okay.
Problem with it being sunny, you can't see the screen.
It does its sampling or whatever it does, and then beeps or something?
So you... That beep was signifying that I got to read.
Oh. 4 points. 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 4 points noise canceling microphones that beep won't show up. It cuts out everything but our voices. So
Yeah, so we're all set as far as the
really,
paint goes, and now we just
okay.
plug it onto the computer.
We'll just go in and get some other stuff that we need then.
See if it matches up to the grabber blue that I know it is.
Yeah. Okay. Do we get some results?
Yes, sir, we do.
All right.
So, as stated before, it doesn't really care what brand it is. You just come here, goes to the camera. This is the color shot we just did for you. Bring it up here. We hit search, goes through the entire base. You're looking at chroma base.
Technology, huh?
Yeah, it takes a second to think. And then there's your match.
It looks like it to me.
So, at that point in time, we just get it for the court, and next we go into the mixing room and mix it up.
Cool. All right. Can I go back there?
Yes, sir, you can.
All right, let's check that out. I'll record that as well.
So we have 3 mixing banks in total. And the way I tell everybody it goes, this is your daily driver mixing bank, this is your show car, that's your exotic. The only colors I've been able to get out of that one, we had one guy come in here for a Lamborghini orange, and there was another guy who came in here for a Ferrari red. Both of those were done out of that bank.
So only twice it's been used.
Yep.
So this one's the most common where we're at here.
This one is the most common.
Over
this
here?
one is the second most common.
Okay. And so
A lot of people come in here for touch-up, so that's the reason why this one is definitely the most common one, because that's where all your touch-up is done, is out of that bank.
Okay. Cool.
So, and thankfully, being grabber blue, it's actually a relatively very simple formula to make.
Yeah, you know, my 2010 Mustang is grabber blue, and I do exchange the touch-up paint between them, but they're not exactly the same. I can see a little bit of a difference.
There are subtle tweaks that they do through the years, and it's interesting, like 8555, which is your standard GM black, so any black Silverado that you've seen that doesn't have pearl or anything like that, the first iteration of that paint code ran from 1951 all the way to 1994. It was the same formula for all those years.
Wow. Wow.
So, and then after 94, they started introducing subtle tweaks. I think it just added a little bit more white to the base.
Yep.
Which, I mean, all in all, it's still black. Doesn't change much.
So we're starting with white.
Yes, sir.
Probably most colors do, don't they?
It all depends on what side of the spectrum you're on, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
The 3 most common starters are white, black, or silver.
Okay. Trying to get that exact measurement.
They do everything by weight, and it's all done by grams, so you want to get as close to the number as possible. Some colors are a lot more forgiving than others. The aforementioned 8555 is very forgiving. The most unforgiving colors, in my opinion, are the oranges and the reds. Because any point in time, you go a little bit over, and it's going to change that hue dramatically.
Yeah, when I was in auto parts, I remember hearing down at the paint store, and every once in a while, a profanity because they hit something wrong or
the lid gets stuck. We've had that one happen a couple times.
They had to start over, and then those are colors that they offered the employees that they wanted to paint.
So we actually had a guy that used to, because I used to work at the Prospect Street store too, and there was a guy there that had a old S10 he was working on, and to get the paint code or color for that, all he ended up doing was taking all of our mist tints and made them all into one color, and it actually wasn't a bad color at all.
But how would he make it again if you needed to?
Hopefully that was the problem.
Right. That's a pretty dark blue.
That's why you started off with so much white.
Yeah.
I'd say it's interesting because it's literally the toners are blue, white, and green that are going to go into this, and that's how you're going to get that grabber.
I guess when you think about when I look at the color and the light, I can see how they would be green in that.
Very a little bit, yeah. And as you just saw, it's actually a majority white and blue that goes into this. The green is almost like an afterthought. So the way it works, as I said, you weigh it out by grams. Yeah. So the white was the most. Then you came up with the blue, and the green is like 10 grams. That's it. And then you got the balancer and the binder, which is how the paint's held together.
Okay, cool.
Right there.
So, you know, when you watch King dig, you know, he just mixes up his own colors and the tint and all that. So they basically have the same system that you have here with all the different tints.
Yep. So the funny part is that what you're seeing is actually a very small segment of what Chroma has available. Mm-hmm. From what we get told from our paint guys, is that there's about 10 different, if not more, product lines that Chroma has available. And as a whole, they're all owned by, I believe, DuPont.
Okay.
So it's amazing how much you have to learn when you start delving into paint.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and that's why where I worked, the paint store guys, they were trained. PPG is a product that we sold, so they wouldn't let any of us on the auto parts side touch anything. In fact, they didn't even like us walk around looking around like this, watching them.
Well, the funny part is, so the gentleman I worked for over at the Prospect Street store, he had been doing this for a while, and when I tell you this man was a wizard, because back in the day they used to send him out to classes back in the 80s and all that. They don't really do that much anymore. But like there'd be times where we'd do a camera shot, the paint would be literally just a little bit off. He'd walk up 2 toners, ding ding, exact match.
Wow.
And we'd ask him, how'd you do it? I don't know. That's just what came to mind. Okay.
That is a wizard.
That's it. We just ran with it.
And that's it.
So actually, we're going to shake it up. There's your before product right now.
Yeah.
And we're going to throw it on the shaker, and we'll pop it open so you can take a peek.
Cool.
So, and then the shaker is obviously just get all the toners to mix together, so that way it all.
Right. And how long? I mean, of course, it'll be a week or so before we paint. Pick a have a way.
Yeah, when you go to paint it, just make sure you shake it up beforehand. As far as shelf stability, if you keep it on the shelf sealed, we're talking years before anything will really happen. I'd say it's actually all these guys are mist tints that have been sitting here for a while. There's really nothing that goes on with them. Next week.
Well, that looks like it to me.
There you go.
Yeah. You can even see the car through the window. Looks like it. All right.
So that's how that one goes. And then anytime you need any more of this mixed up, if you can just bring this back in, that code right there is going to be the formula number, and then we'll be able to get this exact color mixed up just off that number.
Wow, cool.
So
I'm just amazed that Rick only wanted that much of paint to do the 2 quarters, but
honestly, by the time you get done, so most paint is 4-to-1 reduction. So, and even then, he can reduce it a little bit more. He can go 2-to-1, where it'd be 4 parts paint to 1 part reducer, or 2 parts paint to 1 part reducer. Yeah. So that's the reason why, like, a quart can honestly probably do, I want to say, probably the entire rear end of that car.
Okay,
with the way he does it.
My thinking is like house paint.
Yep.
Right, the whole gallon. Yeah, you don't reduce that. So.
No, they don't. Vehicle paint is very different from house painting because of the fact that you do the reductions and all that. And even now, some of the house paints are actually going through where you have to reduce them as well. But that is very few and far between as far as houses are concerned.
All right. So we're set then.
Yes, sir. You're good.
All right. Thank you.